extra office hours after I remind you what has to be done this week. But we'll give them a couple of minutes here to show up, and then we'll head on into it. Any questions before I decide to start the short lecture this morning?
Did everything go with your wife?
Oh, yeah, she's doing much, much better now. It was what the doctors thought. She's a cancer survivor, breast cancer, and she's in her long-term chemotherapy now. They have a low-dose chemotherapy, oral chemotherapy that she'll be taking. She's been taking it for 3 years now, and she'll be doing it at least 2 more years, maybe a little more than that, depending upon what they find in 2 years. But apparently it started affecting her inner ear. And so once they got her off that, it settled down fairly quickly. So she's doing well, and it's nothing permanent. Thank you.
That's good to hear.
Absolutely. She's been through way too much. Turn off my phone, or turn down my phone, although it didn't work last time, did it? I don't know. We'll do it anyway, even if it doesn't work. Nobody knew. Okay, well, let me go ahead and get this started here. Like I said, it's not going to take very long. All I'm really doing here today is reminding you what's going to be happening this week or available to you this week, and remind you about office hours, and then answer questions if you have them. If you don't, of course, it will be even shorter, but there's nothing really planned. What was going to fill the time today was me telling you what's on the final, and since I decided not to make you take a final, because I'm much more interested in this persuasive speech than I am the final. We don't need to take the time today for me to tell you what to study over again. If you have downloaded a copy of the text, you should save that text. Even when people are buying them from the bookstore, I recommend that you keep this text around, because whether you realize it or not, or believe it or not right now, you're going to be giving speeches the rest of your life. You're going to be giving speeches for the rest of your college career. And then once you get out in the work world, you're going to be giving speeches again. So this is a good text to hang around when you're trying to think about what to do with something 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the road, when you can't remember what you studied, but you know you did. You can pull this text out and look it up and refresh yourself. And if you're going to be giving speeches fairly regularly, you should refresh it fairly regularly. At least once a year, take it out and skim through the highlighted sections again, or whatever, to keep those memories warmed up and reinforced. If you don't keep reinforcing a memory, then the connections start to atrophy, and eventually that memory is no longer available to you. So this is something you're going to be using the rest of your life. I recommend you keep it fresh as you're going through. So this week, you have 2 potential things to be working on. The first one is that if you missed an assignment or got a 0 on assignment for some reason, you can turn that assignment in this week for 50%. So a late assignment worth half points there, but 50% is better than nothing. Right now you got nothing, right? And those are all due by next Wednesday at midnight or 11:59. I do that 11:59 to make sure people don't get confused about AM, PM with midnight and noon. There's an assignment called missed assignments there that you can turn it into. The scores will not be recorded in the missed assignment section. They will be recorded in the appropriate speech, the appropriate assignment section down the way, with an explanation in the notes about why there's no submission there. But that way I can keep everything together and grade them all at the same time. If you're going to be doing one, remember all of the lectures, all of the assignment sheets, all of the example outlines, everything are still in the modules available to you. So go back and pull them up and use them again. Don't try to do it from memory, especially now that you've been separated from it for a while. Any speech that you are missing is fair game. The discussion assignments and those kinds of things are not available to you because they have no value to you now. We're no longer discussing those things. The second is you have the opportunity to keep working on your persuasive. I would hope by now that you are finished with this thing. You know, we've been over it 3 times and yet another week after the 3rd time we went here. So I would hope you're done with them by now. But if you're not, you can certainly take the rest of this week to keep working on them. If you have questions, I will continue to answer specific questions for you. I will not just look over your whole outline by now. Like I said, we've been over them 3 times. You should have a very good handle on what's happening. But if you're still having problems in one section, or if you're not sure something that works right or whatever, I will answer specific questions on them. Those are also due next Wednesday by 11:59, so that they can so that I can get them graded before the weekend as it goes in. Remember to satisfy all the minimum requirements on there, including the link to your recorded outline, and if visual aids are required in the one you missed, make sure that you have the visual aids included in a file so that I can see what they look like and also see you using them in the speech itself. Last thing I have to just remind you of is that I still continue to do office hours for all of the classes. The synchronous Wednesday morning class, we're together at 7 to 8 and 3 to 4 on Friday. The full term asynchronous class, we're together 8 to 9 and 4 to 5 on Fridays, and the short term asynchronous class, we're together 9 to 10 and 5 to 6 on Fridays. So I will be available to answer questions for either the assignments you're making up or for the persuasive if you're still working on that. Both of those assignments are open now. As soon as you finish one, you can get it turned in. If you want to just wash your hands of this persuasive and go, I don't have to think about it anymore, go ahead and upload it now, but I won't be grading anything until we have until the due date or after the due date there. I found that if a student turns it in early and then I grade it, they want to try to fix the things that I found on a turned in graded assignment. Okay. So makeups, persuasive, and office hours to remind you that are available to you. That's all I have planned for you this morning, and people who come late are going to come and see. Well, it won't even be ready yet because it has to be processed. Then I'll put this, I'll post this video for them there, but they'll show up and go, what the hell? While the rest of you are having breakfast or going back to bed, or maybe getting a couple hours extra work in. Okay. So any questions from y'all?
Hi, do we have a class on like next Wednesday?
No,
Okay. Thank you.
You're just turning things in. My alarm may wake me up and I may come in here and open a Zoom, but it's just if somebody else has an extra question, that last minute thing. There's going to be nothing happening in the class next week.
Okay. Thank you.
So
You're
today
very
is the last day to have this meeting?
Yep, that is going to be required. Next week would have been the time you sat here and did your final, but we're not doing that this semester.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, then you are free to move about the country as you're going through. I will continue to answer emails with specific questions in them, and you have the assignments available to you until next Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. Have a wonderful break. If you're doing summer or doing a winter session, make sure that's the only thing you have planned, because a 5-week session, if you haven't done it before, it takes way too much time for you to have a life. So, have a good break, and I will maybe see you around campus later as we start getting back around on campus. A bit of just a FYI for you. One of the things that I do is, since you've taken the class with me, if you save my email address and you have a speech later on, I'm willing to work with you to help make it better or to answer any questions for you for the rest of my life. I'm sure I will be dead long before you are dead. So we'll say the rest of my life instead of the rest of your life anytime you need it, okay? So besides that, have a good break. Have a wonderful Christmas. Happy New Year. Stay safe. Don't catch Omicron.